Look at what you guys have done to me. Look at what you've done. This is all your fault. I'm starting to enjoy this. It's Trivium time. So if you're new here, it's been on record for a while now that I have not been the biggest Trivium fan in the world. However, thanks to you guys, that is slowly starting to change as I've been giving you guys the opportunity to get me into this band. And I've got to say, so far, you guys have done an absolutely incredible job of suggesting songs for me to react to. Getting you guys involved and interacting with the Trivium community is really starting to give me a deeper understanding of this band and a newfound appreciation for their music. So for the last few reaction videos, we've been doing a lot of the earlier stuff from Shogun, which has been an absolute hit for me. However, I think it's time to move on. It does appear that Trivium is starting to work on new music and people are expecting to hear that pretty soon. So I'm just worried about falling behind here a little bit. We've spent a lot of time on a lot of the previous albums, but there's 3 albums that I still haven't got to yet. And those would be The Sin and the Sentence, What the Dead Men Say, and In the Court of the Dragon, I think it's called. So for those of you who are worrying that I'm skipping ahead and missing out on a load of stuff, I have done the In Waves album in its entirety. We did a good portion of Vengeance Falls on a live stream, so that was definitely an education right there on that album. There's one song on that album that I haven't checked out, and that is Strife, because I know that you guys want to see me react to that one. And then I have listened to the entirety of Silence in the Snow because I think I just got bored one night, and you guys don't really seem to like that album very much for whatever reason, so I figured that you know, I wouldn't be missing out on reaction material right there. And believe it or not, Shakara, I quite enjoyed Silence in the Snow. I can get why there's a little bit of disdain for that album from a lot of the mega fans who prefer the thrashier side of Trivium. But I think there's some good, accessible, easy listening songs on there, just good rock songs, good metal songs, such as The Ghost That's Haunting You. So that said, up to this point, I'm sort of up to date, even though I know there's loads of songs on Shogun that I still haven't reacted to. I'm just worried about falling behind here a little bit, and I know you guys want me to check these 3 albums out. So today, we're going to be checking out the next album in the queue, I think, and that is The Sin and the Sentence. So, by popular request, we're going to be checking out the title track itself today, The Sin and the Sentence. In terms of expectations, I have none. 0. Apparently, this album was the start of Trivium starting to find their feet a little bit and return to the form. The previous album didn't feature any screaming on it, and apparently there's screaming on this album and everything else going forward, so apparently that was a big hit for the fans. The one thing I will say that I did like about Silence was the overall production. I thought the guitars sounded good. I think the vocal production was really good on that album, so I'm hoping to hear a continuation of good production on this album. So, that said, let's move into Trivium's next era. This is The Sin and the Sentence. Okay, so first observation here. This is the first track on the album, and up until now, Trivium have had these little sort of like build-up intros. Maybe not for every album, but I know for a lot of them they have had those little build-up intros, right? However, this is coming right out of the gate with fast guitars, straight into the song, you know, fast drums. I believe they've got a new drummer on this album, which you guys seem to have a lot of love and respect for. However, this is the guys coming right out of the gate saying, we're back, we're not messing around, screw intros, we're just going straight in. Here's our new drummer. It's fast, it's intense. Let's go. So, yeah, that sounds great.
Passing bells, calling out my name. I knew I'd never see another day. I couldn't swim against the tides of blame. I knew there was no other way. You better practice your lines. You better practice your words. I often feel monsters lie between the light and the shade. It doesn't matter what you say or feel. When honest men become the raging gene, you flick to a lie.
Right, wait. This is actually really good. Can I just pick apart some of what I'm hearing to begin with? Look at what you guys have done to me. Look at what you've done. This is all your fault. I'm starting to enjoy this. Okay, let me just listen to that intro melody again. Okay, so it's like... And I believe we're in 7-string territory now, in a low sort of A sharp standard tune in it, if you like. So yeah, there's tried and tested power chords, right? And that melody. So yeah, we're sort of like in a natural minor idea. You know, it's all being based off of that low sort of A sharp chord. And he's just outlining the triad of an A sharp minor. It's no nonsense, it's simple leads, it's simple chords, it's brilliant.
I heard the passing bells calling out my name. I knew I'd never see another day.
So what's interesting to me there is... So he's doing that sort of like classic power metal idea there, where you sort of, you know, doing like a little buildy-uppy power muted voice. But what's really cool is, rather than just playing the root and the fifth when he starts to open it up a little bit, he plays the rest of the bar chord. Okay. So again, it's Trivium really making use of everything that the 7-string has got to offer. And I know I'm on a 6 right here, but you know, it's not even that really. It's Trivium making use of everything that a chord has to offer. Just because, you know, just because we're stuck with you know, fifth chords, power chords a lot in the metal genre, it doesn't mean that you can't go down to your octaves and your major and minor thirds, you know? And I'm fully aware I might not be playing this properly. I'm pretty sure he's probably doing something else, but anyways, you guys get the point, hopefully.
I couldn't swim against the tides of blame. I knew there was no other way. You better practice your lines. You better practice your words. I often feel monsters lie between the light and the shade.
That's really good. Like his vocals have got like a conviction in them. There's a real confidence about this song. I can just really feel it. And then they're doing the same old tropes, you know, that we've seen before, you know. Octave chords for the build-up. You know, we've seen that a little bit and on some of the previous songs. Yeah, so far this is really good. Okay, right. God, we're only just over a minute in. What a strong opener. You know, what a strong album opener. Now I'm starting to get it. I can see why you guys like this album. Production sounds good. Sounds really good. The guitar tone's a little bit more boxy on this album, if that at all is an expression. And then that riff. I'm pretty sure I heard that a long time ago. Yeah, love that. really, really, really good. I also like the fact that they don't drop down like a typical drop tuning on the sevens. They kind of keep it in a standard, if that makes sense. But you guitar players, they'll get me out there. So, you're not just dealing with these sort of finger flat power chords on the bottom, which is equally viable. It's equally good, but it's cool to be in these lower tunings and using the typical patterns and shapes that we all sort of grew up learning and playing. That chorus is very, very strong, if indeed it is the chorus. Love the fact there's sort of like a trade-off vocally with the screams underneath, and then the clean sort of taking the main idea there. There's a lot going on in that chorus vocally and melodically. It's got such a movement to it. Yeah, that's a hit for me. Let's keep going.
Staring back at me, I knew I'd never have a chance to bleed. Guilty, but in the sight of fallen men, they bury you before you speak. You better practice your lies. You better practice your words. I know that real monsters lie between the light and the shade. It doesn't matter what you say or feel. When honest men become
Bish. Again, I'm laughing, like, because it's enjoyable, because I get it. There seemed to be this revolving door of drummers, right? It seems to me like they really wanted to make a statement, it's like we've got him. We've got him. We've got the guy. This guy's gonna do it, trust me. And that guy is really not holding back on this song. And I like how when the build up is happening there, there's sort of like a dial back sort of metalcore riff, or like a pedal point riff, I would say, that's happening over on the left somewhere. Quite unintelligible, but it's there. What I will say is, just going back, let me listen to those vocals again. Yeah, those vocals, they're very confident again. This is confident music with a confident vocal delivery. You guys tell me, was this album like a best of all worlds when this album dropped? You guys tell me. That's undeniable. Okay, so we're returning. We're returning to the we're returning to that opening idea. It's very important if you bring a song in with a strong melody like that, it's very important to have a callback to it at least, so it's got some sort of purpose. No, it's not there in the chorus, because the chorus has got that very undeniable riff right there. Very Sabbath almost. Yeah, so it's nice that coming back over into the bridge section, that bringing the riff back.
Beware those who speak in tongues, for they may call your name. You condemn me.
Is this the chorus? Drums. Okay. Man, imagine the live shows you know, imagine the live shows. I know, like I said, I keep going back to the Silence thing. It was a miss for everybody. And I hope to God Silence was the album before this one. Otherwise, I'm really going to show myself up. But, you know, there seemed to be like a bit of a murky time anyway between Vengeance Falls and Silence. Imagine the live shows after this. You know, imagine the audience like kicking off, especially with those drums. And imagine the confidence that you could go out with again. With the, you know, if they open the shows with this song, this sounds like a really good opener to me. And I hope to this day they still play this one live when they're done with all the Ascendancy stuff. I feel like Trivium, when I saw them with Bullet, they were a little bit wasted on me because they played Ascendancy front to back, obviously, and album just not my jam at all, which we've talked about. But I would really love to see Trivium do a mix of the songs that I've heard so far, including stuff like this, or Caustic is the ties that bind. Caustic are the ties that bind, even, I should say. You know, and In Waves, Ghost That's Haunting You, Kirisuke Gom, and that sort of stuff. Wow, this is good. Okay, let's keep going. So the song is very much, you know, from the get-go has gone for this, you know, very sort of linear chord progression. You know, the intro was E to a C, E to a D, you know, whichever way you want to think of it, positionally, of course. You know, so why should the pedal point riffs be any different? You know, he's starting on an E, down to a D, down to a C, and then back to a D again. And I love the dissonance of that, of the C note against the E. That's a minor 6 sort of relationship that's going on there. Really adds a sense of danger and urgency. Oh. Let me check that out again. Okay, was not expecting that. That's very sort of classical Vivaldi. It's almost like a key change-ish at this point. And it's just doing the good old harmonic minor thing. Same thing from the last video. And then the leads, they're just following the chords, right? Like that, with a major chord on the end, so that's where na 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 na. That's where things start to sound quite exotic or classical, you know. But that's great. It's very sort of Machine Head, I guess, you know. Absolutely love that. Something I'm not so sure I've heard from the band at this point. But that's, yeah, that's really cool. Nice. Counterpoint. Okay. Let's go, Corey. Okay, one sec. Just a little bit of, you know, appreciation again for how good he is as a guitar player, if indeed it is him, but I guess so at this point. The other thing as well is it's a little bit of a tell that it's him, because I learned that he likes to put micro pitch, an eventide micro pitch on his guitar tone. And that is a sound that I've chased for years, and I didn't really know what it was. I used to think it was like a chorus guitar tone. Yeah, so if I just really quick swap over to my lead guitar tone. So as soon as I heard him using it, I found out what it was that he was using, and it's a micro pitch, right? So I found one on the camper, and something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty addicted to that guitar tone right now. It's been a lot of fun to play around with. So again, you know, this whole me getting into this band or exploring their music, it's multifaceted. You know, I've found some absolute ripping songs in the process, but you know, learned a little bit about what sort of guitar tones the guitar players like to use. You know, Corey with his eventide micro pitch thing, you know, that's a really cool sort of like 80s guitar sound. I think I've got mine dialed in a little bit too much in the mix compared to what he has, but it's a great tool. And then when you start layering it as well, with the counterpoints and harmonies, it really fills out the sound. So that's kind of like his secret or signature little thing that he little secret weapon to his guitar tone right there. So it's cool to see that he's still using that. I hope you guys are enjoying this Trivium reaction, and just while we're here, I want to take a quick moment to mention my Bullet for My Valentine guitar lesson library, which is over on my Patreon page. If you've fallen prey to bad Bullet for My Valentine tabs in the past, and there's a little bit of confusion there, and you want to learn their songs properly, head over to my Bullet for My Valentine guitar lesson library, which is over on my Patreon page. This is my ever-growing series of Bullet for My Valentine guitar lessons, where I break down all their songs and teach you all the guitar parts. Members of the library can also request what songs I do, so if you head on over there and you don't see the song you want to learn, get yourself signed up, put your request in, and you'll get full priority on what I do. The lessons are also available for one-off purchase on my Patreon shop too, so you can just buy the lessons outright if that's what you want, rather than signing up monthly. Members also get access to the isolated stems for each song that I do, so that's guitars, bass, drums, and vocals, as well as access to my quick lesson series, which are more just general guitar lessons where I share my love of guitar theory and other things. So yeah, this is 100% the best way that you can support me and what I do, other than hitting like and subscribe, of course. So if you want some Bullet for My Valentine guitar lessons, which are in-depth and as accurate as I can possibly get them, head over to my Patreon page and see what's over there. Okay, let's check that solo out again, because it's a short and sweet one, I think. Very good. That's undeniable. Oh, like that. La na na na. That's a very contemporary sort of melodic vocal line there. La na na na. I'm not a singer, but I just recognize intervals and things like that. That's that was really good. They've just brought everything, haven't they? They really thought of everything on this song. It kind of feels like it's just got like the best of everything in there that I've heard so far. You know, it's got like the shiny production, it's got the strong vocals, it's got the guitar solos, it's got the interesting song structure. I will say about this though, even though it's a longer song, there's no fat on this song. From what I've heard so far, there's no sort of like unnecessary guitar parts if you're looking to write something quite concise, which I guess was the goal on the previous album. You know, or even on like In Waves, the songs seem to be a little bit more condensed down a little bit, or they were trying to find their way into that. Whereas with this one, you know, it's a longer song for sure, but there's no like unnecessary adage. It's very concise, and it doesn't you know, deprive you of that big riff. Something like that. It doesn't deprive you of that. You know, the listener's going to want to hear that. Bring it back around. We've had it quite a few times. So, yeah, this the songwriting seems to have gone up a notch here. Love that. La na na na. That's really good. Okay, just before we go into the last section, I gotta say a huge thank you to you guys as well. Or a thank you to myself for starting this little series that I'm doing. But no, full props to you guys for recommending these songs and stuff. I did vocals in the studio for the first time ever, just recently for my upcoming EP, right? And I did the first song last week in relation to this video. And I would never have had the confidence to do that. And getting into the mindset of this band and watching the little documentaries that go along with each album and stuff like that. You know, Heafy's been through it with his voice blowout previous to this, and it always just seems like, you know, he's just got up there and just given it a go. And when we first started doing this little series, I made the observation that on Ascendancy, it very much felt to me, because it, you know, I know you guys have got a lot of love for that album, but hear me out. It's a very, you know, it's the same thing with Bullet for My Valentine and The Poison. It's a very young album. There's a very sort of young feel to it, right? And that's because, well, they were young, right? So the vocals on there, it just felt like, well, nobody else is going to do it. I'll give it a go, you know? As a vocalist, you know, you can hear him with each album. He's trying to find his way. He's trying to find what works, right? He's doing it on the job. The only job this guy has had since he was 16. It's the only thing he's done. Trivium. That's it. Right? And it's like, well, I guess this is what I've picked. The best find a way to sink or swim, you know what I mean? Well, preferably not sink, but it is sink or swim, you know? Got to find a way. And each album, you know, you can hear there's sort of like a progression there. However, for me, you know, watching him having the little back and forth during the In Waves era with Colin and Carl, you know, saying, it's just like, I can't do it, you know, or whatever it was, you know, he was really struggling. It gave me the confidence to go and just step up to that microphone and give it a go. When I went to the studio the other week to do it's full me, this EP, by the way. I've done the writing, the recording and everything. Besides the mixing and mastering and the recording vocals, my producer's doing that. But if it wasn't for Heafy's just sort of like, get up and just do it, you know, attitude, you know, we'll find a way. Maybe I wouldn't have had the confidence to have done that the other week. Getting into these guys has already had sort of like a good impact on my life, and I'm forever thankful for that. You know, and whether those vocals are any good or not remains to be seen when the song drops and the EP drops. But still, I listened to the In Waves album on the way down there, you know, and I was thinking to myself, this entire you know, chapter. He was like really having a hard time with it, trying to find what he wanted to do. There's a positivity with this band that I really like, and it's bringing in a good positive influence on me. So yeah, I'm rambling. I'll stop now. Let's wrap up the song. Wow, we're going back to Shogun now. Well, there was no need for that, was there? I want more. Can we do the next one? Double reaction? Should we do Beyond Oblivion right now? Wow. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, here's an interesting one for you. What do heavy bands rely on a lot? You think about it, right the way through the thousands. Yeah. Chug, 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 and palm mutes and opens, right? There wasn't really any of that in this song. These guys don't seem to rely on that a whole lot. However, there was a little bit of it at the back end of the song, and guess what? It hit like a train. That was, I mean, I'm going to go back and listen to that. That's good. Yeah, that's, see, when the heaviness, you know, when they bring that edge in, which is good, it's tried and tested, and who doesn't love a good boomy chug section, you know, almost breakdown-esque, you know, but if you're constantly just constructing a song out of that, you know, eventually you're going to grow a little bit null to it, right? This song was very simple in its essence. Don't get me wrong. Execution might say otherwise, especially for me, right? But what I'm hearing is it's a 3-chord song, and even when it changes, 4-chord progression outline, right? So again, everything we've heard, you know, for the majority of it has been built off of those chords, the lead. Very, very simple stuff. So when that heavy element came in at the back end there, you know, and it's almost like we went back to Shogun with some of the more progressive riffs, a bit more technicality, you know, it hit like a train. And that's really, really, it's a really smart move to take the song out on that note, rather than just relentless chugging all the time, you know. But this song seemed to have everything. It was anthemic, the drums. Yeah, it's like, tell me you've got a new drummer without telling me you've got a new drummer. That was absolutely insane. And I think I'm right there. I think I'm right. Again, if I'm wrong, I'll have, again, really showed myself up. I'm trying, okay? Just be patient with me. I'll get there. So now we've hit another problem now, because I'm not going to be able to listen to this album, because there's certain songs, I'm looking down the track list, and Beyond Oblivion, you guys have requested that. The Heart from Your Hate, you guys have requested that. Betrayer, you guys have requested that. None of the other ones are particularly popping out to me in terms of what you guys have requested. I just remember those titles in particular. Not to say that you guys haven't voted for those, but those are the ones that stand out to me from what I've seen in the comments. And yeah, I want to keep listening to this album now, because that song was such a good opener. It's really sort of intriguing as to what the rest of the album's like. So the other thing that I do want to clarify as well is that I'm not done with the earlier albums. I know people are requesting stuff from The Crusade. I know there's a shed ton more Shogun tracks that you guys want me to react to. I'm fully aware of it. However, There is a lot of material here to get through, and like I said, I just want to be sort of up to date by the time the new stuff comes around, so I think it's like the sensible thing to do is to get some of these modern albums, modern or later albums done, because we can always go back, right? We can always go back, and we will go back. You know, I want to get Shogun boxed off and ticked. I want to hear that whole thing. You know, it's just important to do these ones now, I think. So, what do you reckon? One more from this one, and then we'll get on to the next album, which is What the Dead Man Say, I think, or The Dead Man Says, or something like that. So, what we saying? Betrayer or Beyond Oblivion, or Heart from Your Hate? Well, it might not be one of those, but you guys decide. But I would like the next one to ideally be from this album, and then we'll move on to the next one, I think. So if you guys are happy with that plan, just remember you guys are equally a part of this. The series would not be happening unless you guys kept coming back and you know, and watching these and requesting songs and stuff like that. So huge thank you to you guys for participating. Thank you for continuously voting to have this song you know, reacted to on this channel. So yeah, I'm really excited to get going with the next one. If you enjoyed this video, as always, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. If you guys want Bullet My Valentine guitar lessons, or guitar lessons in general, be sure to hit my Patreon page. Or if you want something a little bit more tailored and personal and you want one-to-one tuition with me, just drop me a message on Instagram. Tell me what you're looking for and we'll go from there. So yeah, I guess that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. This has been The Sin and the Sentence. You guys have been incredible. I've been Nihilist92. And until next time, I will see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.